Hey guys, how y'all doing? It's me, Johnny, and welcome to another one of our Sorare videos. Today, I want to dive into some different topics, but before we do, I want to quickly mention the podcast with Sorare Data Lads and, of course, Dan from Sorare. We have finally gotten confirmation that this fitness bonus nonsense that they have added into the game will apparently be the final bonus, and they don't want to take it further than what they have done right now. Now, I did listen to the podcast. There were a lot of red flags for me within that podcast that didn't necessarily reinvigorate my love for Sorare at this moment in time. It's only a short amount of time. As soon as my players come back to play, I'll probably be super happy about anything anyways. But generally speaking, at this moment in time, I am still heavily against the fitness bonus. I genuinely could not care less what anyone else thinks. It's my personal opinion. I think we had enough bonuses, and just because I'm okay with certain bonuses doesn't mean I have to be okay with every single other bonus that is being added into the game, especially if it's basically double of the main bonuses we have had so far, which is the new card bonus, and then, of course, the collection bonus, which both only go to 5%, while the XP that your players have, the regular XP, totally makes sense in terms of being rewarded for holding on to a card for a long time and playing them in good lineups. Those things made a lot of sense to me. Collection bonus made sense to me due to this being like a trading card game, a collectible game. All those things were perfect, but I'm just not okay with the extra bonus we are getting. And yeah, that's always going to be my stance. If Sorare need any other revenue streams, there are multiple ways of doing it. And as Nep has said in his video again, in which he again disagrees with me about the fitness bonus, I am fine with agreeing to disagreeing. But I think the suggestion of bringing in cosmetics into the game that you can spend money on, that makes a lot of sense in order for people to individualize their galleries, the looks of their cards, all those things. Yes, do that. Make that a revenue stream for yourselves. That way you will probably get a lot more money than actually going ahead and impacting SO5 scores by bringing in the 10% bonus for the fitness and then requiring people to spend real money to gain back the fitnesses. That is basically what I want to say to that whole point with the Sorare Data podcast. Obviously, Dan, I kind of felt bad for him. He was sent into it not necessarily fully prepared. Let's be honest. He seems to have come back from a trip, a holiday or whatever it was. And yeah, he wasn't fully, briefed on what he could say, what he couldn't say, it seems. And he wasn't able to give the details on the things that were obviously going to be talked about during the podcast, which is a shame. But hopefully next time, as he mentioned himself before, that we will have other people coming in from Sorare themselves and actually help him out and let people know what we are expecting in the future. But yeah, going back onto here and onto Sorare Data, let's start talking about, oh, by the way, real quick, thank you, Dan, for always being the guy to step up when the community needs someone to talk to. I much appreciate you as a person that has always been positive about the game. This is not like an attack on you or anything. I just feel like they have left you out to dry in that situation, and I just wish they supported you in more ways. So hopefully that's not going to happen anytime soon, and hopefully he does get the raise that he deserves. But yeah, guys, we are here on Sorare Data, and we are obviously in full preparation mode for the new season. Having brought in Tsigankov, having brought in Ezekiel Bulod, who obviously is a substitute for Feyenoord mainly, but we have brought him in order to take our collection score to that desired 3% threshold that I aim for with any of the collections that I am building up. Any other ones that I have right here at 1% are just, by luck. I just won the rewards, kept a hold of them, didn't list them. That is why I have those 1% bonuses, apart from the Porto one, where I actually do have Diogo Costa and Taremi, and also the Besiktas one, in which I have Cenk Tosun and Getson super rares. But going into things here, in terms of players and all that stuff, there was one thing I was thinking about today that I also mentioned in our Discord. an extremely active Discord that you guys should probably hop into. People are on there 24/7, it seems, and always happy to discuss and help things. So make sure to dive in there and, be a nice person. That's always the good thing in Discord, being able to actually make friends rather than enemies. That's the way to go. But in terms of super rares, I was sat there thinking about something today that, made me think what I need to do in the future. What is the goal that I need to set for myself going into this new season? Because as you guys know, I have basically nearly achieved perfection in terms of what I want my lineups to look like going into the next year, right? I think I showed it here to you guys in Game Week 369. Yeah, basically in this one, approximately, no, actually not, because we have the Hilgers in here. Oh God, I can't remember which one it was where I showed you guys the lineups. Was it this one, 388? Is that the one? Is that the one? I'm so confused right now. Is that the one? I don't think it is. Is it the one where I wanted to showcase you guys my teams? Basically, I guess that could be the one, or was it 390? But anyways, you guys can basically tell, yeah, 390, you can kind of see all the cards that I have, all the stacks that I have, the plans that I have made moving forward, the teams that I'm capable of putting up. And by the way, Formose Mendy has moved to Lorient. So that is a new thing that you guys might need to consider. It's nice to see that his price has somewhat held up. People seem to think he would be fitting in perfectly there because as far as I have heard, Lorient actually do play 3 at the back now. And that could be very beneficial for him as a right centre-back. It seems to be the perfect position for him. So I would love to see that. But yeah, I'm excited about him at Lorient. They obviously have a couple of players that are of quality. I just wonder personally, like, are they going to bring in a couple more players to strengthen this squad? So we're going to see how all of that will go moving forward. But yeah, going back to this site again, you can see that we have a lot of great under 23 super rares. We have Hartmann and Jimenez, who play in one of the strongest Challenger Europe teams in Feyenoord. We have Guardiol, who by himself is one of the best centre-back talents. We have Formose, who crushes it in SO5, generally speaking. We have Mainans, who is obviously showcasing great amounts of talent and capability to score extremely high in that AZ Alkmaar squad. One of the players that I have a lot of high hopes in, and one of the players that the entire community seems to think could be that next guy in the Eredivisie. So I'm very excited about that one. And I honestly think Andre Almeida looked ridiculous towards the end of the season. He has been doing really good things for me. And I think the price that I got him at is a really good one. And I personally expect him to reach the 60 pluses a lot more consistently in the upcoming season. And then for him to possibly get an even better move. And then Marcelinho Nunez is going to be very exciting this year as well with Norwich. He is not going to be getting these numbers. Trust me, Marcelinho is back. I've watched the preseason games for Norwich, and he seems to be one of the main guys that they want to play alongside Gabriel Sara. That could be a really good thing. And then, of course, we have Barisic, who started off into the new season with a 64 immediately. So very happy with the under 23s that we have. So in terms of players that I would feel very comfortable of putting into lineups, we are looking at, in terms of like an under 23 super rare. Yep, that is what I want to work towards. We would have Kilinci, Hartmann in defense. So let's look at defenders. We have Hartmann, Guardiol, Formose, Barisic, 4 great players to pick in between and possibly use 2 at the same time. In terms of midfielders, I think Sven Mainans, Andre Almeida, or Marcelinho Nunez will be the choices that I go through. But Romeo Lavia, who seems to be very close to joining Liverpool, could actually get a starting spot. And that's nuts. So that could be huge for us. And I think his scores will be much better at Liverpool than they are at Southampton, because at Southampton, they were conceding a lot of goals, obviously. But yeah, in terms of forwards, I obviously have to bank on Santiago Jimenez. And hopefully he'll be healthy throughout the entire season. But goalkeepers, we have none. So my plan right now, as we speak, is that I go ahead and do something specific that I'm going to show you right now. So Zidane. As you guys know, I have Lucas Zidane, his super rare card at the moment, which I personally value at least 1 ETH, right? His rare card is currently, the floor is at 539 euros. His latest cards have been selling for 0.25, something like that. I personally value him at least 1 ETH and possibly even more. Ideally, I would like to sell him on for 1.5 to 2 at some point, because I do know that ABAR are extremely strong, and I expect these types of scores once again going into the new season as ABAR tries to get promotion back into La Liga. This is exactly what I'm expecting. That is the Zidane I know, and I am fully aware that his scores towards the end of the season weren't too great, but I think a lot of them are also coming in due to the matches in the playoffs, these last two at least, and then obviously not too many great scores. But generally speaking, I expect a lot more of the greens. And we have a bunch of game weeks until the European season comes back with new cards. So normally the way it works is the European season kind of comes back like somewhere into, let me go here, actually onto another tab. Let's go into the football lineup builder. Oops, sorry. Lineup builder. We can go over to the period where I personally expect the new cards to drop, because Dan was talking about implementing all these new things and fitness bonuses and all that stuff towards like mid to end September. And I believe that's where they are going to be launching the new European season cards. So I'm thinking we have time up until game week 407. So until game week 407, in terms of super rare goalkeeper, we have Zidane, and possibly I don't even need to get rid of him at that stage, but hear me out here. So we will have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 game weeks, including 3 matches at home, where I could use Zidane in those super rare lineups, whether it be cap 220, cap 240, cap 270, depending on the matchups that we have. This will be a very, very useful player. Now I'm going to try my best to get some return out of him, but also out of all my other lineups as well. So if we look into game week 397, that's where things kickstart for me again. And I was going through my lineups once again and looking at what potential good squads I could put together. And every single weekend, it seems like, if you look at this, up until that game week 407 that I was mentioning earlier on, I think we can put out at least 4 to 6 great squads, like genuinely strong teams that we can utilize in the future. And with the return of the Bundesliga, that number goes up even more. So I'm thinking up until game week 407, if I do things right, if my plan has been working out correctly, I can build up an ETH balance that I can then go ahead and hopefully bring in an under 23 super rare goalkeeper for. But in the case of Lucas Zidane doing well, getting clean sheets, his price going up, and people realizing that they want that card, if I am capable of selling Zidane for an amount that I feel happy with, which ideally would be like 1.4 to 2 ETH. Ideally, that's what I would love to achieve. If it's not going to happen, if he doesn't perform as well, I just keep him as a cap 220, cap 240 super rare goalkeeper. But generally speaking, if I want to get a really good under 23 super rare goalkeeper with some longevity, it will probably cost me more than 2 ETH. So let's say I sell on Zidane for, I guess, like 1.4. Up until that, or 1.2, whatever. Up until that point, I would hope that I have generated around 0.8 ETH along that as well. Generally speaking, when I look back at the past season, I would be generating in between 0.5 to 1 ETH each month. So thinking about that, I think I can reach that number again and hopefully be at a stage where the new European season cards come out, where the rewards pools are massively desirable again. At that point, I think I try to step into under 23 super rare. Up until then, I don't think it makes as much sense. I think it makes a lot more sense to hold on to Zidane and all the assets I have without trading them away and being silly, because most of the best super rare cards that were in rewards pool have already been like not necessarily they have not been replenished within the rewards pool. As you guys understand, we don't have the best super rares in there anymore because they have been given out and we are at the end of the season. So I'm thinking as the new season starts off with the cards, as they return into the rewards pools, that's the point, the breaking point where I will make my decision on which under 23 super rare goalkeeper I want to get in, for not necessarily every single game week. Just because I am planning on going ahead and bringing in on the 23 Super Rare Goalkeeper doesn't mean I'm going to be stupid and putting in bad lineups. So ideally, what I want to do is I want to look at my super rares in every single game week. Look at if I would be better off utilizing them in a full stack, for example, with Hartmann and Jimenez for Feyenoord. If the matchup is too good, it would make a lot of sense to use them either an All-Star Rare Pro or Challenger Rare Pro. And then if I'm not too comfortable with the matchup for defense, but comfortable with the matchup for attack or anything like that, obviously it would all depend. Every single lineup that I make with the under 23 super rares, it will all depend on Santiago Jimenez. He's the only forward super rare I have at the moment. So depending on the matchup for him and some of my better under 23 super rares in that specific game week, I will always be able to make a decision on going ahead and putting those guys into under 23 super rare, which is my dream division to play in. Like, that's the one thing I want to achieve. By the end of this upcoming season, by next May, I'm putting out my goal right now. I want to be able to compete in the under 23 super rare division properly. And ideally, I would like to get there by January to already utilize these assets that I have. So that's the plan I'm setting for myself. I'm that type of person that loves to have something to go after. So if I set that goal for myself, I think it will be a great thing. So generally speaking, that is the goal that I'm going to set for myself going into the next season, because I'm already extremely happy with the way my gallery is set up at the moment. I'm not necessarily lacking anything. I'm not upset about certain things at my gallery. I have some top goalkeepers, star goalkeepers with Andre ter Stegen, Justin Bijlo, Alisson, Costa. Those are the star ones, including Bart Verbruggen, especially if he starts for Brighton. He is going to be a star goalkeeper as well. So we're potentially looking at like 5, maybe even more amazing goalkeepers. Defensively, as I mentioned before as well, I'm very happy with how things are set up here. And if we filter this by, how do I do this? Filter by, no. How do I filter by score? There was a way of doing this on the phone. I'm not capable of finding it here. How do I'm probably blind right now. Oh, there we go. Newest to oldest. So L15 best to worst. So you can see again, Grimaldo, I think he's still going to do well. Obviously not as good as he was at Benfica, but I think he has been looking great in preseason, so I'm excited about him. Trent, obviously a beast. Hansko, ridiculous. Formose, we're yet to see how he's going to do in League A. De Ligt, Van Dijk, Hartmann, Geertruida, all these guys that we're looking at, Balde, Guardiol, like, we are set for every single division that I want to target. For the super rares that I have, especially in Challenger Europe, I have some top super rares. So ideally, I would get myself an under 23 super rare goalkeeper from the Challenger region to be able to make use of the players that I have in that region that are not under 23, and be able to play Challenger super rare as well on the odd game weeks where it makes a ton of sense, where I can go ahead and put in that goalkeeper, put in Kilinci Hartmann, put in someone like Zerouki, Gabriel Florentin into the lineup along with Jimenez, and just absolutely smack it. So yeah, those are the things that I'm currently thinking about, and I'm genuinely very excited about what's to come. I'm really desperately holding myself back from depositing more. I need to stick to the plan that I've built up all this time, and just because the game weeks are getting closer and I could potentially go ahead and put in some terrible lineups like these right here, I don't need to go ahead and get a goalkeeper. Like, I was very tempted. I thought, you know what? Ooh, I could have a lineup here. Let me go ahead and trade my Noppert for a Nardi from Ghent. No, I'm not doing that. I have a plan. I need to follow it. And it's taken me a lot of restraining to, like, not go ahead and do this. But at the end of the day, I think I will benefit from holding myself back until, finally, game week 397, where we get going once again and have a ton of fun with this game. It's going to be so good. So, yeah, Let me know what you guys think about my goal that I'm setting myself for the super rare division in under 23. Do you think the assets that we have are good enough to compete in there in the odd game weeks? Obviously, just like Lucas Zidane, who is basically being used mostly for Cap 220 or specifically Cap 240 super rare. I want to go ahead and do the same with the under 23 goalkeeper in those game weeks where I don't have the good enough pieces, so we can just go into super rare divisions, not necessarily under 23 specialized. So yeah, let me know your thoughts on the plan. Do you think it's the right way to move forward? Or do you think I should just go ahead and deposit and get an insane goalkeeper right now and get started straight away? I don't think I should, because of the rewards pool not being rewarding enough for me to make that change. But yeah, that's me done. Thank you so much for watching. I will catch you next time. Take care and make sure to subscribe to Sorare Data using the link in the description down below. Otherwise, you will not be able to do all this planning. Otherwise, you won't be able to look into all these stats that help you be the best manager you can be. And make sure to use code Johnny as you do so. Take care, guys. Have a good one and peace.